There you go. Good evening. Welcome. It's Ramesius, Prayer Master. So, Master of Prayer, Baal Tefillah. Let's take a quick look at the text and see where it leads us. Be'ez Hashem. So, as we said before, the merchants from this rich state came back with a lot of panic, and they said that there's a mighty hero that is conquering the world, and he's not interested in any money. And only people should surrender to him. And the wealthy country would be very glad to surrender to him. But the fact that he didn't want any money was the opposite of their faith. So they couldn't do that. So that's the time when the Baal Tefillah came to them again. So we said that the Baal Tefillah is a tzaddik. The minute he comes close to a person, all kinds of inconveniences, pinching, dinim, gvuras start happening to a person. People, can mistakenly think that, I don't understand. When I was just doing whatever the heck I felt like, everything was going fine, I was having a good time. And then when I come close to the tzaddik, suddenly, some people have marriage issues, some people have health issues, some people have whatever, parnasa issues. What's going on? The answer is that the biggest punishment of them all would be for a person to live out his life without even knowing that he doesn't know, without an inkling that anything was wrong. Because Baruch Hu gives the Rishon, La'aleinu, he gives them the schar in this world, an exact punishment from them in the next one. The tzaddikim, the Baruch Hu cleans in this world, so they can get the next world clean. It's very natural for a person to be concerned with how he feels and how things are going by him. It's normal. The world was created in such a way that the default mode would be for us to be concerned with, they don't feel too well, things are not going too well with my business, things are not, not going maybe too well with, with my wife or with this or with that. It's very normal. Baruch Hu created so because Baruch Hu wanted to do well and bestow goodness upon his creation. And the ultimate goodness is the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself, obviously. And there is nothing more embarrassing than for a person to get something for nothing, to live off the handouts of others. There's no sense of accomplishment. The idea is that the person should do whatever it is that he can do. And then what he gets is a sense of accomplishment. So you can ask, what can we accomplish already? Because Baruch Hu is infinite. Baruch Hu is infinite. Hashem, any kind of Torah and mitzvahs that you will ever do, what is it compared? You're not to decide Kadosh Baruch Hu. In order to build a world that the creations would be able to earn their merit, Kadosh Baruch Hu had to create two worlds, Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. One world where you don't see a Kadosh Baruch Hu. You have to believe in it. And a different world where you can see everything. Because when you see everything, that's your repayment. That's your schar. Now, if a person passes through this world, blind as a bat, to the fact there's a Kadosh Baruch Hu in this world, there's no greater punishment than that. B'ezrat Hashem, Kadosh Baruch Hu should give each and every one of us wonderful health, longevity, and should always feel well with Hashem. And the Gemara says, "Elecha yitparel kol adam le'es mitzoy." To you, a person should always pray to the time of need. So the Gemara says a person should daven, that for a beautiful expiration. Should be painless, should be with grace, should be with halvaya on all of us. But the point is that the surim, the mightiness, the dinim of the Gibor, they're all there in order to let us know that it's for real. It is all for real. And 1,000 times we are told it's for real, and we go, yeah, but I want maybe still, maybe there's still an option. Maybe I can still have fun in this world. Maybe I can still get away with A, B, C, and D. But it doesn't work that way. And people who are far from the Kadosh Baruch Hu, like the people on this country of wealth, for them to be, for them to accept the idea that this olam is all for naught is heper de'emunah, mamash heper de'emunah. One of the most amazing recordings I've heard. There was a member of Knesset. He was the leader of the party of Meretz. His name was Yossi Sarid. And Yossi Sarid was a big adversary of the Frum world. And he was, I think I told you that already, at least 1 or 2 times before. He was on the radio, and he told the interviewer, he told him, we have the Hypochondriac Society. I belong to it. We have such a fun society we call the Hypochondriac Society. So it was time for us to choose, who's going to be the chairman. So each person, told, what kind of complaints he had and fears he had, whatever. And he said, I'm going to tell a story going to trump all of you. And he said to the people, he says that he died. So this is what? He says he died. The interviewer was in shock. What do you mean? He says he died. He was in the car with his wife and his family. And he said, that he felt some heat, whatever it is. And he says he was outside of his body. And he says that his wife took him to the hospital. And he remembers, them bring him in and remember his wife telling, says, I brought Yossi Sarid, it's everybody pay attention. And he doesn't remember how things went on. He didn't speak about what went on, and it's himself, his neshama came back. The interviewer was stunned. He said, if anybody else but you would have told me this story, I wouldn't have believed it. So Yossi Said said, I understand what the big deal is. The interviewer, who was a secular guy, says, you don't understand what the big deal is? You have seen with your own eyes that the neshama and the body are not one and the same. The neshama exists outside of the body. It's in the body, outside of the body. So Yossi Sarid said, but it wasn't it wasn't a religious experience. It was to do with anything. Maybe some kind of in between stage, you're still tied to your body, already out of your body. But the point is proven. There is existence outside of the body. Do you know what his answer was? You're not going to believe this. It's the same answer as these people of the country of wealth. He says, but that contradicts my agenda. It's against my agenda. He said that Rishonim, even at the portal of Gehenna, do not do tshuva. And how stupid can you get? Astonishing. We'll take a quick look and see how the story continues. So when the tzaddik comes close to the people, then suddenly they get an awakening, a prodding. You have to do tshuva. And now the tzaddik comes to them. Now people start listening to them. Yeah, begrudgingly, maybe yes, maybe not. But what can I do? I'm just, just a single person, cannot fight City Hall. And the tzaddik is happy from that. And we said that this is the beginning of Yeshua, because even a drop of Ma'asim Tovim, a drop of tshuva, even a suffix, even a doubt, is already a tremendous possession for Olam Haba. There's a very chashuv Breslover tzaddik that said You can go and give a schmooze. You said it years ago. You can go and give a schmooze to a hall full of people, and there can be, I don't know, 100 people there, 200 people there, and you go there and you speak, and you mean to reach them. You really want to, get them penetrate, as they say in America, get through their thick skull. And you're standing there and you're speaking and you're talking, and you bomb. In other words, you fumble really, really. Like, I mean, even amongst your off days, this is an off day. Man, you're even boring yourself. You're so bad. I mean, it's like so boring that even the people in the audience feel bad for you. I'm like, and you finish your lecture, you want to get it over with, the people want you to get it over with, and you're done. You just want to forget it. You want to forget it. The people want to forget it. Just let's get out of here. And it seems to me that it seems, that this is like a colossal failure, isn't it? I mean, how worse can it get? And there might be just one person in this 100, 200, 300, whatever people that was there, that in the middle of your speech, I mean, the whole speech, he found the whole speech like, oh man, it was like worse than watching paint dry. But in the middle, somewhere, certain nakuda, there was a certain doubt that came into his mind. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's something that he should check out. And then that spark was extinguished. And he forgot, went back to sleep, or yawning, or whatever. Just one split second of a suffix, of a maybe, during your worst performance ever. You go home just wanting to forget this whole speech. That person, everybody in the hall wanted to go home, just forget his whole thing. This particular person also forgets about the whole speech. And he goes home, goes to his family, and he lives his life out to ripe old age, and he passes away. That split second of the doubt that he had in the middle of your perishingly boring speech is going to be his life source forever. Forever. He's going to live on that. It's going to be his sustenance. So when we are talking about that there is a suffix that the guards say, yeah, but what do you want me to do? I'm just one person. The tzaddik is a tremendous nachas ruach from that. You should know that we're looking at good days, bad days. Did I have a good day? Did I have a bad day? You can think, today was an awful day. What happened? You'll take a look at the time when people have awful days, most times, obviously. So they got up in the morning, I don't know, maybe they argued with their wives. And the children were unruly, and you try to get someone on the phone, you couldn't get him. And you went in the car, and there was a traffic jam. And when you take the look of the entire day, there were maybe like 3, 4, 5 minutes, or maybe even seconds of bad, of unpleasant, and bam, the whole day is painted as I had a bad day. On the other hand, what constitutes a good day? Also, a blink, a spark. You woke up in the morning, your wife smiled at you. The kids went to school happy. You called, the guy said, okay, whatever. You got in the truck, there was no traffic. Boom, 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 great day. So what's the difference between a good day and a bad day? It's just a nekuda of light. Our tshuva, our avodas Hashem, is a nekuda of light, is adding a nekuda of light. Our problem is that, come on, that's ridiculous. We need a whole, at least, I'm not saying to light up the entire hall, but I mean, at least a spotlight, or like a projector or something. A nekuda? A spark? What is a spark? Kedusha is revealed in this world only in sparks. Avodas Hashem is only in sparks. Yitzchok used to say, "Dirgaim tivchenenu." You check us out by minutes. Rabbein is called Chayera, talking about a life. Reb Nosson called his sefer already Yemei Moana, the days of Reb Nosson. Rabbeinu had a life, Reb Nosson had days. For us, David Melech says, Dirgaim tivchenenu, you check us out minute by minute, that's it. Major says like a chicken that pecks, capicho tarnagol, like a peck of a rooster that pecks in the garbage heap and finds a morsel to eat. But that morsel is infinity, is infinite. So the tzaddik has an amazing amount of nachas ruach from a nekuda toiva. I don't. Rabbeinu said that is nekudas toivas. Look at your nekudas toivas. Think about them. One of the reasons why people don't feel chayas from the avoid of nekudas toivas is because they don't seem to work automatically. In other words, like, wow, hey, I won the lottery. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to, go into it and says, okay, what an attack. Nothing. Boom. It's in. I'm happy. Joy. I feel joy right then and there. We're not even talking about consequences. Forget about that. Nekuda Stoivis is a nekuda that the thing that is showing is just a little point of light. Put on film today. The natural reaction is, no, big deal. Who doesn't put on film? Of course, what do you want? Or say even worse, it's like, what do you want that I shouldn't even put on film? So Rabbeinu says in Torah Samach, and we'll get to it, that in order to get Yiras Haroimimus, the awe of Kodesh Baruch Hu's greatness, you have to stop, but matriculate from chasing, being afraid, what's going to happen to me if I do wrong, you're starting to think about, is this the Kadosh Baruch Hu that I should be doing? What should I be doing? Like feeling the presence of Kadosh Baruch Hu. So Rabbeinu says you have to work with Chochmah, Bina, V'das. Chochmah is the Nekuda Toiva. Koyach Ma. The Koyach is in the what. The Koyach is the what, whatever it's going to be, is still in potential. The Ma, the what, is still in Koyach, in potential. In other words, it's just a Nekuda Toiva. Putting in front is a great thing. Davening Minchen, Marav, Shachas, Mincha, is a great thing. Learning Torah is a great thing. But okay, everybody does it. Or, okay. The inyan with Chochmah is you can't get it to the das, to know, unless you take this little glimpse, this little spark of goodness that you have done, and put it through the process of Bina. Think about it. Investigate it. When somebody asks you a question, you know what the answer is. So how do you find what the answer is? In the beginning, I don't know. I expect him to know. But you start, mulling it in your mind. It's like around and around, and you're thinking, and you're bouncing, and this and that, and suddenly you started to see a little bit of the end of the line leading into it, and you say, so maybe this is and suddenly you get into it, and bam, a whole world opens up before you, and then you get the answer. You see, like, wow. And then once you understand this, after the process of actively looking for it, investigating it, in the beginning you don't know. Well, I don't feel anything. You're looking at it, and you're looking at it like this and like that, and then suddenly it opens up. You understand it. Then it can be introduced to the das, to the memory. Now you know it. The same thing applies to Nekudas Toivos, the good points. You cannot be expected to be ecstatic from something that, okay, boom, a little spark. The Chochmah does not excite. You have to chase it. You have to work on it. You have to understand it. You have to mull it around in your mind. What did I do? I put on film. Okay, it's film. What is film? Film. What's the big film? What's the big deal with film? Well, the film is the Keser HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, that sounds like an interesting slogan, but what does it mean? It means that when I put on the film, I'm connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Well, that sounds nice, and you keep on going back and forth, and suddenly it opens. Yes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, open it up for me. And then you find suddenly it opens up the way it should, because it's abnormal and it should not shine. It's normal because that's the default option. But even we, theoretically, we understand that we should be mind blown from the fact that we put on film today. It does not work unless we work it, unless we investigate it, unless we open it up. And then we take another one and another one. And this is how we make a good life. Many times we are sold on the superficial. There's nothing else we can do. The thing to do is take what you know to be true, mull it around in your mind with the Bina. It will not shine to you unless you work it. It's the same thing with Gemara, the same thing with the entire Torah Shebaal Peh is like that. It works if you work it. B'ezrat Hashem, we will finish our shir now, and B'ezrat Hashem will learn Likutei Moharan Torah Chavtes, right? Tomorrow night. And Wednesday night, Hashem, Kol HaBreslov, not Kol HaBreslov, Breslov with Smedras, B'ezrat Hashem.